Hi everyone, my name is Sebastien Lagree. I am the creator and founder of Lagree Fitness. Today I want to talk about the difference and the similarity between the EVO 1 on my right and the M3 on my left. So many of you are asking this. We have more models now than ever available. So a lot of people are asking, hey, which machine is better? So first of all, I don't think there's a machine that is better than another. Okay, remember that the type of equipment that will suit you best depends on many things. Number one is size. Do you have the room at your studio or at your home? If you don't have any room, only the micro is going to work and maybe perhaps the mini. Then it's how are you going to use the equipment? Are you using the equipment where you're going to lay flat on your back? Okay, if you lay flat on the back, then the micro is not necessarily an option for you, or the mini. Then you go right into the Mini Pro and then the other machines. Are you going to use this in a studio where you're going to have to move the machine back and forth, or is each machine going to be dedicated? So you have a number of questions you need to answer, and then based on that, then it starts to zero down, what machines are best. The EVO and the M3 are very similar machines, and there's small nuances that might make the EVO better or make the M3 better. So I'm going to try to talk about those nuances, and then you guys can decide what's best for you. M3 came out about 2012, 2013, right? EVO, I think, came out about 2019 to 2020. So there's about a 6-7 years development time between those two machines. And also what you're not seeing here in this video, well, the M3 evolved into an M3S, the M3S evolved into an M3K, the M3K evolved into an M3X, and there was an intermediary Megaformer that I never resold, but I do talk about in my videos, and that's the M3E. And the M3E was basically the intermediary machine between the EVO and the M3X, okay? I am now going to do a video comparing the M3E because for me, the M3E was a necessary machine that I need to build for myself. And there's also a lot of proprietary information that I'm still using in that one machine, okay? So I'm not gonna talk about this one. When we compare the M3 to the EVO, let's talk about the obvious, the size. Well, the M3 is about 117 inches. So if you watch my previous video comparing the M3 to other machines, 117 inches of usable length. The total length of the M3 is about 125, but you're only going to use 117 inches of it, okay? Total length on the EVO and also the usable length on the EVO is the same, and it's about 134 inches. So there's a 17 inches difference between the M3 and the EVO. So we made the machine longer because, as I was using the M3X, so when we were using the M3K and M3X, you have to understand that the M3K and M3X were developed because of the ramp. So many studios around the world are adding the ramp to the arsenal, and because when you add the ramp, it needed a longer nose, especially on the back end. If you're never going to use the ramp, then the M3 is definitely, a good machine for you. If you are going to use the ramp, probably not the M3 because the M3 was released before the idea of the ramp, or just about. So the M3, M3S, probably not good machine. Maybe M3S okay, but M3 definitely not okay for the ramp. The EVO was definitely designed with the ramp, in mind. So it has a lot of anchoring points. Essentially, that's kind of what you need. So the length, we talk about this. The width, the M3 is wider. When I designed the M3, the M3S, M3K, M3X, these machines progressively became wider. Why? Because I realized that it's nice to have the room to adjust your body just up and down on the Megaformer, but also sideways. Like for example, when you do exercise like mega donkey kick, froggy kick, flying froggy kick, scrambled egg, flying scrambled eggs, spider kicks, laying on the side leg press with the cables or on the bar, that you actually need the width on the carriage to adjust your position. So the M3 does that very well. The M3K does it best because the M3K is the widest machine that we have available. These adjustments are great, and on the EVO, I started to think about, machines that are more refined because we cannot keep making machines that are longer and wider because eventually no one is going to buy them for a studio. If you start having a studio that requires 200 square feet of space, then you can only put 5 per 1,000 square feet. So it's not feasible. So at one point I had to realize, hey, I got to make those machines, narrow. I have to stop making them wider and wider. But on the EVO, one cool feature about the carriage, so the EVO on the carriage is actually shorter and narrower. It's about 44 inches long on the EVO, about 45 inches long on the M3, 28 inches wide on the EVO versus 33 inches wide on the M3, so about 5 inches shorter on the EVO. However, you don't really feel that much the difference in weight. You definitely feel the difference in weight when you compare the M3 to the Mini Pro, because there's a 10 inches difference between the width of the M3 and the width of the Mini Pro for the carriage, okay? So 10 inches, definitely you will feel the difference. On the EVO over here, you don't feel that much because you have the Ring of Fire. The Ring of Fire is a new thing that I started out in 2019 and absolutely love this design. It really gives you complete control over the exercise. So when you do any movements, that bar that goes all the way around the carriage is absolutely golden. And I don't know why I did not think about this earlier, because I wish all my machines, every model had that Ring of Fire. It's golden. It's really so beneficial when you do any exercise. Flying scrambled eggs, super lunge, kneeling torso twist, leaning torso twist, and you name the whole list goes down. Any exercise on the carriage will be enhanced by the Ring of Fire. So it's a phenomenal feature to have on the machine. Talking quickly about the front of the platform, as you can see over here, after the M3, I realized that people were not really using the width or the side of the M3. So when you look at the M3S and the M3K, you start seeing that the platform start to narrow down again. On the EVO, we have the narrowest platform. And essentially, you have the pad, which you grab with your hands. You can grab the pad anywhere you want. The pad is not a perfect square, it's kind of a 5, side pad. You have a little bit also the cross-like position. So you have like a lot of hands and feet positioning on the pad. And the pad is really there for you to put your knee, your hand, your elbows, and then that's it. And that pad right over here will fit everyone up to 6'5", 6'6" in length. We have also the integration of the handles. So we went through a whole evolution of handles going from the M3 going to the EVO. So this feels like a big change, but there were evolutionary steps, in between. One of the steps was the static handles that we had now on the M3K, on the M3K Plus. And essentially what happened is that, I noticed that people were not using the feature, not using the rotation. So I'm like, okay, let's make a static handles and let's make a handle that recaptures all the main point of the rotating handles. And after a few years of using that, realized that some of those features were not in use. And that prompted me to develop this handle over here, which has triangular grip. And the grip is actually very sturdy, very smooth. It feels great on the palm of the hand, great on the heel, because this basically your main contact point. And that's kind of what we did for the front of the platform and also on the back of the platform. On the back end, the M3 has the same thing, same platform, and it has just the simple rotating handles on the back. On the back end, we actually make the platform a little longer and also the handles are longer, because when you use the ramp, you're gonna realize that you need more anchoring choices or more anchoring options when you are on the back of the machine. So most of the extra length that you see on the EVO comes from the back end. That's where you have a long platform, long nose. When you order the EVO, you have a choice of having the same rear platform, or if you want to, you can swap the rear platform for another front platform if you want to make the EVO a little shorter. So if you plan on not getting the ramp at all, then in that case, why not? You can actually use the same front platform in the back, and that will save you maybe like an extra, 6 or 7 inches in length. So that's about the main thing. Design-wise, I'm always pushing the envelope. I love the M2. I love all the machines that I make, but I've recognized there was a need to really push the design. So the EVO 1 was actually an intermediary design for the EVO 2. I am going to make a video comparing the EVO 1 to the EVO 2, and you're going to see the EVO 2 is a more finished product. The EVO 2 is a beautiful machine. It's probably one of the most beautiful machines that we have now. Love the Supras. Those are really great machines, but I would say that the design on the EVO 2 is by far the best. It's great integration of design and technology, and that's pretty much what the EVO line is going to be. The EVO line is going to be a line where we integrate technology and design. Well, you can expect, with the EVO 3, and then when you start to look at, other machines coming out like Supra and Ultra, we're going to really push the technology, but also really push the design. And I'm very excited about that direction. As far as exercises you can do, okay? What exercise? Because some people say, what exercise cannot be done? You can do same exercises, okay? So there's no difference between the exercise you can do between the M3 and the EVO. The only difference is this. Some of the exercise on the EVO are going to be easier to perform than on the M3. For example, I would never teach a flying scrambled eggs or a super lunge on the M3. Why? Because there's no anchoring point on the front of the carriage. You do have pockets, but the pockets are there to basically cover where the straps are coming in. They're not really functional pockets, okay? The only functional pockets that we have on the M3 are the two eyelets in the middle, which you're gonna use for certain exercise like giant wheelbarrow and so on. The EVO, in comparison, is loaded with anchoring points. So this EVO is the only machine right now where you can do flying scrambled eggs, super lunge, all that stuff, and you can actually have your feet perfectly aligned with your hips, and you have the proper support to the ring of fire. So that itself, makes the EVO, to me, more worthy, okay? So the fact that you have the integration of the bars and more opening space make the EVO better if you want to do the whole spectrum of exercise. So the EVO 1 is not gonna allow you to do newer exercise you can do on the M3, but it will allow you to do all the exercise with the proper anchoring points. And I think that's a big driver. No change in exercise. This is not like, when you go from the M3 to the Micro, for example, where you have to adapt some exercise, you'll do the exact same movements, okay? Matter of fact, with the extra length on the back of the platform and the design of the carriage, you might be able to throw a few more options that you cannot do on the M3. So I would say the EVO probably overall will allow you to do more than the M3. And that's normal, because, that machine was designed with 7 more years of experience under the belt. Prices, we're not talking about a big price difference. We're talking about $7,900 for the Megaformer. These are licensing price, okay? If you're a licensee, that's what you pay. $9,800 for the EVO. However, the EVO also comes with the triangular handlebars. It comes with the static handles. It comes with the SUPERFAST. All of these are options for the M3. So on the M3, if you want static handles, you're no longer paying $7,900, you're paying $8,400. Now you're gonna have the triangular handle grip, now you're $8,900. You're gonna have the SUPERFAST technology, now you're above $9,000. So very quickly, you get to the $9,800 that this machine is already on. So not much difference to me as far as price. Shipping is going to be the same. You're going to ship the M3 and the EVO the exact same way. So shipping costs will be identical. You're going to pay the same for the crate, same for the shaping. The assembly process is going to be slightly different, but it's going to be pretty much the same. So shipping, price, all that stuff, relatively the same. And then we're only talking really about, differences, in the quality of the movements you can do on the EVO. Which machine is best for you? That's a question that I really cannot answer, because the M3, for example, is a fantastic machine. We sell the M3 all the time. It's, I don't know how many machines we've sold by now, but a lot of them. The M3 is like a staple, and the M3 is always going to be there. I would say that. I'd say if you are more in the old ways of doing Lagree, because Lagree has evolved a lot since 1998, okay? In the last 24 years, we have evolved into a core muscular strength and muscular endurance workout, and that's why the EVO 1 is really driven for muscular endurance and core workout. On the M3, we're still doing a lot of exercise, laying on the back, using the cables, stretch and things like that. So if you are an old school Lagree, which I don't know if you can call old school Lagree, but anyway, if you're like a classic Lagree, the M3 might work out better for you because you can do more laying on the back exercise and you can do a mix of anything that you want. On the EVO, you can still do this exercise, but obviously the pad is shorter, it's not as inviting. You obviously realize that you're not supposed to lay on your back as much on this machine. I'm not making it that inviting to lay on your back and do a whole bunch of exercise laying on the back. So I would say that if you are looking for more an endurance type of workout, then the EVO 1 is definitely going to be better for you. Cash, or the brand name, okay? The Megaformer is the most well-known machine. The Megaformer is not a reformer, but it has become the benchmark in the reformer industry. No longer Pilates company are making the reformer. They're all making now versions of the Megaformer because that's where the demand is. So the Megaformer is king. It has dethroned the reformer. The EVO is not there yet because the EVO is a brand new product. I think the EVO will do the same thing to the reformer, but the Megaformer is king. And there's no other machine. There's no better machine, better built. This is it. This is the best of the best right over here. The M3, M3S, M3K, M3X. That's it. These are the top of the line machine. This is what everyone wants. And then talking about copycats, lots of people are trying to copy the look of the M3 to try to piggyback ride on those machines. Remember that the Megaformer is a trade name. It's it's an intellectual property from Lagree Fitness, that when you buy a reformer, the reformer is a generic name. The Megaformer is not a generic name. It's a name that we use to say this is our Lagree equipment. It's only made for Lagree, okay? So the Megaformer has that brand name recognition that the reformer never achieved, by the way, okay? Everyone wants the Megaformer at the house. So if that's what you want, then there's the Megaformer. It's not the EVO, because the EVO is not a Megaformer. The EVO is a different type of machine, especially when you look at the EVO 2, right? So it's a different direction. When I evolve these two machines, you're going to have the M4, M5, and you have the EVO 2, 3, 4, 5. They're going to start to evolve in different direction, right? Functionality, and this is really technology and design. And that's going to become very apparent when you look at the EVO number 2. If you want to buy a machine for your house, either one will do. I would say for the house, go with the M3. Go for the less expensive one. You're going to have a great workout. You have to remember that I build machine for classes environment. So all the technology, all the innovation is for class. I don't care how machines are used at home, because at home you can take as many breaks as you want. You can do, at home you have all the luxuries that you don't have in a studio. Studio, if you have a 25-minute class, the machine needs to work for 25 minutes. People need to get in and out in 25 minutes. They need to have this fantastic workout, everything. There's more rules and more restrictions, more limitation in the class environment, which I work around when I make those machines, right? At home, either one. So I think maybe the Megaformer, because it's the Megaformer name. If you're going to buy them for a studio, then that's different. Are you familiar with the EVO? Yes or no? If you're not, if you're used to the M2, that might be a big jump for you to go from an M2 to an EVO, because there's been a lot of evolution in the method itself, okay? You have a few copycats, around. Get the EVO, get something completely different. Now, a lot of licensees are turning over the M3s and M3S and M3Ks for the EVO, for the one reason that they don't want the machine to look like all these copycats, okay? And I totally understand that. And that's also another main driver behind the technology and the design as well. I want these machines to remain unique and authentic, okay? I don't want, some cheap copycat machine to people, and I want people to think that a copycat machine is basically made by Lagree, and then we get the bad rep from that. If you're going to open in a copycat place, then probably the EVO is going to be best for you. All right, guys, so I hope that video was effective, and I hope that I was able to answer some of your questions. Of course, you can always email us at info@lagreefitness.com for any of your comments. We will do more comparison videos. Please email us at info@lagreefitness.com. Again, my name is Sebastien Lagree. Thank you for watching.